Hail, well met. Welcome to the next episode of Isekai Realms. Here with the Dungeon Scrawlers. We have been trapped cruelly in another world without our
Cruelly.
smartphones. And some of us are trying to get back. Anyway, I am Eric Scott DeB, author, game designer. I run things on the stream. I play things on the stream. I introduce games on this stream. And I am trying to make sure my friends get back home safely. Take it away, Allie.
You do the introductions very well.
Well, thank you.
I
Sometimes.
am I am Alexander Pitchford or Ali. I am a writer, game designer, and TTRPG streamer. And I'll be playing me again because that's how this works because it's Isekai. But going by the name Amara Valerian because why not? It's suitably overwrought and elfy. And I want to take a sec to tell you about one of our sponsors, which is Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. Idle Champions is a strategy game that unites iconic Dungeons and Dragons characters from novels, campaigns, and popular shows into one epic adventure, including Farida, Havilar, and Mehen from the Brimstone Angels novels. The game is available for PC and Mac on Steam and Web, Epic Game Store, Google Play, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, iPad, iPhone, and on all Android devices. Please do check them out because they generally have some kind of cool seasonal event happening. Those are always worth checking out because there's usually something really, really cool to get from them. So for more information on all that, check out idlechampions.com.
Hey, I'm Rhiannon Held. I write urban fantasy as Rhiannon Held and space opera as RZ Held. And my series of space opera novellas is now complete if you are the kind of person who likes that. So if you like action, adventure, romance, emotional support cats, snarky AIs, carbon composite wings, all kinds of cool stuff, check those out. First one is called Clean Install. And I have two other partners to tell you about. Norse Foundry specializes in metal dice. When you roll them, it feels like you are skillfully smashing the rigid armor of the monster horde. They also offer gaming accessories, and you can find those and more about them at norsefoundry.com. Yeah, metal dice. Very nice.
Mm.
Phoenix dice is named for the creature that rises from the ashes because they use all recycled materials. You can find their dice and accessories at phoenixdice.com.
Hi, I'm Randy. I play Randonius. Yep, Joel.
Hello, everybody. I'm Joel Everett, usually one of your mods, Rumpus Imperator, in the chat. Tonight, I am playing myself, but as a dwarf. Over to you, Chris.
Fair enough. Thank you kindly. If you're wondering why they're all punch drunk, it's because we've been at this for a while. And so while they're at the beginning of a session for you, it's hardly the beginning of a session for them. So to recap from where we left our heroes, you just happened upon an unexpected bounty in the basement, hidden within a concealed panel near a secret door, which I am going to presume for all of our benefits that you explored, deduced, led into the sewers, and then promptly shut behind you. You discussed briefly what you wanted to do with your bounty and decided collectively that it was probably worth saying something about to the mistress of the house. So if I'm not mistaken, you're all about to go back upstairs.
One quick question about the door. Did we
Sure.
find any way to open it from the other side?
No. This is one direction only, from within to without.
As far as we can tell. Okay.
As far as you can tell.
Fun.
Still probably a good idea to block it off.
Yeah,
As a
still put
dwarf, do you have
something
some way
heavy
to
on
like
it.
seal it? Yeah.
Putting a large object in front of it.
Finnan with a PH
That's why you're the dwarf, Joel.
will
That's right.
indicate to you that
Practical.
if you want him to, he could use a glyph that would make it so that only an individual of a particular race, a particular faith, with a particular password could pass through this door. It will only last so long, but at least to provide you with some protection.
Password seems like a
Yeah, the
solid
password.
choice.
Make the password pineapples.
He'll look at you quizzically. What is a
It's-
pineapple?
Exactly.
I see.
It's a pie made out. It's a pie with napples in it. It's really
No.
yummy if you never had one. But
Excellent. Well, I'll happily taste it. In the meanwhile, would you like me to do that?
Yes.
Yes.
And what
Yes.
would you like the consequence of not knowing this password to be? Fire? lightning, cold, something more devious?
Lightning.
Can we make it so that it just doesn't open?
No, I'm afraid I
Or
can't
the-
block it. I can only bring consequences on the person who passes without the password.
Whatever would be most deadly to vampires.
Well, then fire for sure.
Fire. Yeah. Definitely fire.
When you say that, Rhiannon, chuckling along in your head is the voice.
I'll
Definitely
bet
fine.
it is.
Very well. So he will, placing one hand upon his holy symbol, one hand upon the door, and whistling a doughty tune, cause the door to briefly luminesce around its edges, and then will inform you it is ready. Pineapple, he'll say.
Great.
Got it in one. Perfect.
10 out of 10, no notes.
All right,
All
very
right.
well. Upstairs we go.
Yes.
All right. So who's the spokesman of the group who wants to have this discussion?
I was just going to bring that
Rhiannon.
up.
Rhiannon.
Well, we can. A few of us can go. We can just go. We'll talk to her. It'll be fine.
But yeah, I mean, so I'm assuming everybody will be there, but we need to consider our phrasing. And so one person who is speaking at first would, I think, be of benefit.
Well, I mean, we could approach it like we talked about. We found a cache of enchanted goods that we think would help in this whole task of being, cheap heroes. We believe it. They might have belonged to someone of that variety. So
Mhm.
A former,
carrying on a legacy.
who we have reason to believe stashed them some 25 years ago. Based on one of the coins that we found. Silver coin.
Did you mention the coins?
Silver coin.
Right. Yeah, showing the
But
silver.
so okay, like, it sounds
Based
like
on the layer
you-
of dust we
you guys
analyzed.
have like your approach in mind then. So in which case I will step back, because
I mean, I could talk. I'll talk.
If Rhiannon, if you need to add anything or say anything, you are more than welcome to do so.
well, I'm just
That
thinking.
voice is back in your head, Rhiannon.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. You seem to me to be the wisest of this bunch, and yet you consistently defer to them. Why is that?
I know I can't hear it, but suddenly I feel offended.
And Rhiannon's
Ooh.
like, yeah, you see me too closely.
Diplomacy.
Hmm.
It's just
More
so nice to be
more
seen.
flies with honey than vinegar, I think.
We really must teach you fire.
I
don't think you get many flies with fire at all.
I was kind of hoping there might be like a gelatinous cube down there that I could toast, but
Hmm.
no dice. So,
Very well.
So okay, so as far as talking to Jamal, here's the thing. I'm wary of making it seem like because I know she's like, oh, just put on this play, we'll set up the symbol, and then you guys can leave. I'm worried that we're gonna get ensnared because Jamal will say, oh, but if you could just stay one more week, I have this great task that Shadowbane needs to do, and if you can stay one more week, then there's this other great task that Shadowbane could do. And so I'm wary of saying, we found this stash, and it's going to make us better heroes for you, because I will put my hand up, I'm not planning to stay here and be your hero for her. And so if
in
we need
achieving
to-
this current task is how I would frame it.
yeah. And so I'm worried that the risk of saying, like, we have this great, like, set of equipment that will let us help you is that she'll say, great, you can have it as long as you do this one task, and then I'd like it back, please. And we really should give it back at that point. But, like, we're going to need to eat while we're getting home. And so maybe we tell Jamal about like just the magical stuff and not the coin, or
I was going to tell her about
like,
the coins.
I
was going to tell her about the coins.
okay, good.
Well, Is Finnan listening? to all
Finnan's
of
still
this, by
right
the way?
there, right?
Unless you don't want him to be, then he is.
Okay. Well, I would also say and Finnan can attest to this, that the Finder doesn't just care about renewing life in Westgate, but in the world. And our quest takes us beyond merely Westgate. We have much to do as cheap heroes in this world on our quest to return home. And so I think maybe, I mean, his name is Finder, and I think he helped us find these goods.
I mean, at the risk of sounding blasphemous, finders keepers.
Finnan will laugh at that, saying, "That is clever. I may steal that from you."
You're welcome to it.
And
she came up with that just now.
Randonius, you make a good point, but as with many things in life, it's all about intention. And so to me, the real question is, would the reason that you would be keeping these things for yourself be for good cause, to truly promote those things that you're talking about, or would they be just to benefit yourselves? That's really the critical question. Not so much where they're used or when they're used, but how. Does that make sense?
When good people go out into the world, then is not like their cause for the good of the world. Like, I think that the two are inextricably wound. So
I certainly think that. I mean, my intent on keeping these things is to try to. I mean, they'll help keep us safe, and B, you know, we are at least probably going. I don't know. I would like to do good things. I think that'd be the right thing to do, and that'll help us.
I do not wish to steal these items.
No, I don't wish
That
to
will not
steal
be
them
happening.
either.
However, I want to make it clear, my job is to get you all home safely. Those of you who want to go home, stop looking at me, Amara. These items will help us do that. That's the oath that I took to Helm. That supersedes other issues.
And I promise
If we think
I promise to help with that, whether or not I want to go home. I'm gonna see y'all there as best I can.
at the same time, if Jamal can do some good with some of these things, I do not think it amiss for us to give her some of them and make some sort of arrangement.
That seems fair.
Yes? Reasonable?
So we had a little bit of a technical snafu that caused a portion of what we were just doing not to be recorded. But great news. We're going to just summarize that portion and then take us out of this episode. So I believe where we actually left off at the beginning of our technical snafu was when we took our break at the conclusion of the looting examination of newly found items in the basement of Briar House. What occurred after that, after everyone tallied the various goods that were uncovered from the stash downstairs, is they had an interesting moral question discussion around their obligation to disclose the particulars of that treasure to the present owner of the house. And if I'm recalling correctly, you opted to inform her about it broadly, while not really discussing the money that you found. Is that about what I recall correct?
Correct.
Okay, excellent.
That sounds about right.
I think we did discuss the money somewhat because we were concerned about the minting and whether having a bunch of money that was all minted in another country might be an issue.
Yes,
We
I do.
discussed that among ourselves, not with.
Yes, Jamal.
Right. And
Yeah,
we've
we didn't
transferred
mention that
risk,
to Jamal.
Right.
Yeah.
We've transferred that risk from Jamal to ourselves now by having it.
Yes.
Anyway.
Okay, so you
Go
then
ahead.
went upstairs. You informed Jamal of the fact that there was, in fact, a secret door in her basement that you had discovered, and that secret door led into the sewers. Finnan, PH, H is silent, cast a spell to ward the door for what it was worth, to at least keep vampires from wandering freely through the basement. So at least you'd have some warning if someone was trying to get at it, and fire would be used to keep them at bay, at least temporarily. You then geared up, having handed out the gear in question, and we'll talk a little bit about that at the beginning of our next session, so I don't really need to rehash it here, and set out onto the streets. You were headed to Castle Thalavar. Finnan agreed to accompany you because he'd been to the city some years ago and knew his way around, or at least could find something as obvious as Castle Thalavar. And so you set out to do just that. You had the interesting experience of actually traveling in a fantasy city, in a fantasy world, with the correct pants on, because you had now all functionally geared up, so that you felt like real adventurers, in a very Pinocchio sort of a way. The fanciest among you was, of course, the person with the fanciest name, Randonius, who was dressed like, I don't know, some kind of a flamboyant pirate of some kind or another, if I recall correctly. But in any event, you set out across the city and were accosted with the rampant street celebrations of midsummer, it being the middle or early afternoon of the day. So sights, sounds, smells, and what have you. I noted that some of you, Allie, had more acute senses. Some of you, Joel, had less acute senses by virtue of the fact that you had changed your forms. And as you were making your way across the city, press of humanity and other races all around you, you sort of tightened up a bit so that you could stay in the wake of Finnan, with Eric leading the way, slouching slightly so as not to appear quite as 6'7" as he normally does. Across the city, you hit a large intersection as you entered onto the main street that crosses the city. I think it's Silver Penny Street. And as you were crossing that intersection, a group of children, street children, approached the party. Again, 3 of them, ranging in ages probably between 5 and 9 or 6 and 8. It's hard to say. No one asked them how old they were. A boy, redheaded boy, the largest of the 3, a dirty blonde boy, the next in size, and then a girl, a blonde girl, who is the smallest of the 3. They approached the ladies of the group, but Randy, in an enterprising effort, intercepted them. And if I recall correctly, Randy hired them. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah. I offered them the contents of my fake purse, my distraction purse, if they would guide us to Castle Thalavar, and then offered them the promise of potential more coin after.
Excellent. I seem to recall something about watching your backs as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay. And you gave them a few copper nibs and a piece of cherry bread, which the young girl, dirt from the ground and all, stuffed into her mouth and consumed. And then you set out back across the city. And that was where we actually left off. So see, not so bad. We didn't miss that much, really, at least in terms of summarization. When last we left our heroes, not too long ago for us, we were walking down the street on the way to the lane that took us to Castle Thalavar. The party is headed to Castle Thalavar because they believe that this will provide them with a lead for someone that they are seeking, in particular, someone that is important to Eric. And as I may have described at the conclusion of last session, they have picked up some companions. Children, 3 in number, whose names they have not yet acquired, that are moving a little ahead of them, a little behind them, and just sort of watching their backs. Well, to the extent that children are good at that sort of thing. So you will come to yet another intersection. Finnan will take a moment to acquaint himself with where he is, and then indicate that you are supposed to head off and to the right. This is the intersection of the King's March. It is a very wealthy area of town, and there are a considerable number of revelers, as I mentioned before. This is midsummer, one of the greatest festival holidays of the realms, and it is a beautiful weather day, and you're in the middle of the afternoon, and people are out having a fantastic time. There is the smell of flowers and sea air everywhere. you will note that this street is a bit more heavily policed and a bit more restrained in its enthusiasm for partying. You will see across the intersection, as you move onto this street, a tavern of some size, the merriment from that tavern spilling out of it and onto the street. And it looks like on the sign in front of it that there is some sort of a decaying tree. Not sure exactly what that means. You can see that there are characters in a language that you do not presently understand inscribed below it. As you turn right onto this lane, you will see that the banners that are displaying from many of the buildings around you are the Thalavar family banners, which are jade green with a green feather of a different shade dominating this area. And as you approach, you can see the Thalavar family compound. It is called the castle in part because it very much looks like one plunked down into the center of the city, looming in the distance. There are buildings, towers, and gates, 5 main structures with gilt decor on them. The biggest is a many-turreted structure on the north wall. Why don't you do me the favor of telling me what you all look like? Because it's been a while since last we played, and it would be helpful for you to describe that for our audience. So, Eric, we'll start with you.
Well, I'm 6'7", but I'm carrying myself in such a way that I'm not as big and in charge. Basically, my Clark Kent posture. And I am not wearing any armor. I am wearing just basic Realmsian clothing, and I have my green suede leather jacket, which is not actual leather, but probably resembles that to people in the realms. Because my wife is a vegan and I don't have actual leather things. I'm getting off topic. And I have a short sword belted at my waist, so it looks like I'm taking security seriously, even though I have no intention of actually drawing that weapon for any purpose.
Is that because there's another weapon that you, if should be required, you think you can summon with ease?
That's right. Vindicator is currently hiding out in that secret little compartment in the basement beneath Briar House, waiting to be summoned by a man of faith and conviction.
Excellent.
Which is hopefully me.
Which is hopefully
or you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
one
me.
Or the other.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Well, I also don't want to suggest that only men can summon Vindicator. That's not on the list. You know, I'm just talking about myself. Anyway.
Gotcha. All right. So thank you, Eric. So you look a bit like an adventurer, but not a particularly successful one.
Well, I suppose.
Okay. Rhiannon, tell us a bit about how you appear to the casual observer.
So I'm still wearing same shoes, same jeans, but it's some kind of probably, seems more like a man style in our world, but cut for a woman in this one in terms of the linen shirt underneath, and then the sort of like kind of whatever style of jacket over top that's the more decorated piece.
A doublet.
So that, yeah, or whatever. So.
And do you have a color scheme?
Well, I mean, I assume I took what's there, but as far as deciding what was there.
Oh, there were many choices because, as I said, it's a costume shop. There were probably 300 outfits in that house.
Yeah. Going, trying to thread the needle between like really dull and really like flashy, because I'm assuming like a lot of them are made to read on stage. So it would have been going more for something with one like color against a neutral. So say gray and red, or something like that, so that there is color, but it's not like colors together.
Excellent. So gray and red it is. And are you armed, or at least as far as the casual observer is concerned, are you armed?
There were like daggers being handed around at some point?
There
probably
were.
Not. Okay.
You're not required to carry one. I'm just curious.
Not particularly. And then whatever I was carrying, it's under the shirt, so around the neck, and then so the pouch is sort of here.
protecting it from everyone, including the children that Randy has hired.
Yep.
Excellent. All right.
Can I ask 2 quick questions? Eric,
Certainly.
are you wearing a cloak?
Nope,
Are you sure?
I don't think so.
Oh, you didn't bring the cloak?
Oh, yes, I do have the cloak. That's right.
So be aware if you are wearing that cloak.
I'm not wearing the cloak, though. I'm
Okay.
just kind of carrying it over my shoulder. Because if I were wearing it, it would be having its effect, which would be weird for people.
Correct. It would create a bit of chaos in the crowd because you would always appear out of phase with where you really were. So people would be bumping into you, trying to avoid you, and etc. So anyway, Randy, how about you?
And then-
Oh,
and I was
you had a
asking
second
if
question,
Rhiannon
yes.
has a shiny blue ring on her finger.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, the ring. I'd forgotten.
Excellent.
Should have made notes about that. Did I make notes about that?
Yes, that's
Probably
an excellent thing to put on your character sheets. So I'll trust you'll be doing that. Okay. Randy.
I'm walking along in a nice, lovely crimson. I don't know what it was, velvety, velour kind of.
Yes,
outfit.
it's velvety for sure. As I said, it's a
velvety
sort of a
outfit with some
flamboyant pirate outfit.
gold thread
Pirate
tracing.
King.
Yes, there we are,
uh,
Pirate King.
A nice hat with a feather off of it.
Indeed.
I have throwing knives tucked away, and then I have accessible, and I have a K-bar knife on my belt, and I can't remember if I took a short sword as well, just for show. And
Why don't you decide that? Why don't you decide that now? Would you like to have 2 weapons belted on or just one?
I think just the knife is fine.
Excellent.
And then I no longer have the little pouch on my side, and no, and then I have a little mask kind of tucked in underneath my shirt, ready to pull out
as
doublet
needed.
or whatever. Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Joel.
I am a dwarf with no beard. I am
You
wearing,
have
I believe,
stubble. You have stubble.
I have stubble. Yes, a beardless dwarf. I stand out more than anybody else. About 4 feet tall, clomping around in plate mail with the symbol of Tyr high on the carved into it. I have short swords belted on either side and a round shield on my back, and also a dagger in the small of the back, hidden. And that is, yeah.
Okay, so you're wearing armor, which is sort of a muted gold tone, that particular armor, just so that you know that.
Oh.
So you actually appear to be the most threatening, menacing, successful, whatever, of the group. What are you carrying for weapon again?
I have the 2 short swords, one on either side of the belt, and then a shield on the back and a dagger in the small of the back.
All right, so quite a lot of gear. All right, and Allie.
All right. Well, I look not like me at all. I look like an elf, a moon elf specifically, standing about 5'8", which is tall for a moon elf, and
Quite tall.
long raven, kind of that blue-black hair, violet eyes, fairly pale, and then wearing very form-fitting leather armor, black leather armor.
I was going to say black leather armor. Let's not forget the fact that it's black leather armor.
Along with a pair of like very deep red, so deep that it itself could be confused for black boots.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also am armed with a long sword and a stiletto strapped to one of my thighs.
Okay, so 2 questions. How is the hair made up, and which thigh?
The stiletto is going to be on the right thigh.
Okay, inside
And
or
then
outside?
on the outside for the moment.
Okay.
And then my hair is probably either left loose or I've maybe pulled it back into like a ponytail.
It is
very
quite
simple.
long, yes?
Yeah, probably ponytail then.
Okay.
Just
Fair
to
enough.
keep it out of the way.
Reasonable. All right, so this group of intrepid adventurers, led by a halfling and shadowed with their security detail of 3 small children, are making their way towards Castle Thalavar, looming in the distance. As you approach it, you'll swing around it to a section of the wall with the main gates, which is the southern section of the castle. And you will see a number of soldiers and guards, a half a dozen of them wearing the family livery, over what is probably studded leather armor, guarding a grand courtyard, which you can sort of spy beyond the open gates in the distance. There are trees, lawns, and fountains in there. But this half a dozen guards at the gate will stop you to ask your business. As that occurs, who are they talking to? Because otherwise, it's, as far as I know, it's a halfling and a giant in the front.
I guess we would have discussed, like, I'm guessing we would have discussed on the way here the strategy for, I mean, Eric, are you, because they might recognize you, were you going to kind of take the lead, or were you going to try not take the lead because they might recognize you?
I suppose I am taking the lead.
All right. So they will, in a moment, begin addressing Eric. The children, Randy, will pull up
Yes.
in a tight circle around you,
Yes.
point
children.
excitedly at Castle Thalavar. We brought you here. We're not going in
did.
there, are we?
No, actually, what I'd love for you to do is to just wait out here discreetly, kind of, blend in. And if anyone followed and is waiting for us when we come outside, and that way when we emerge, you can find a way to let me know. And if you do this, I promise more coin. And I know that the Tyrans have been really cracking down on people around, and especially the poor, and I'm sure
Their eyes will narrow conspiratorially as you say this to them. They're hanging on your every word.
And so I think I might have a safe place for you to stay where, well, you've clearly learned to perform in order to gain food and coin from strangers. I have a place where you can perform safely, potentially, and get cherry bread all of the time, and have a safe place to sleep where the Tyrans won't attack you for doing what you do so well.
They are looking at you with a mixture of hope and suspicion. Suspicion in the eyes of the eldest boy, hope in the eyes of the middle boy, and confusion in the eyes of the girl. The eldest boy will say, "What's mergin?"
Mergin?
You said they're mergin. What's mergin?
Oh, I forgot what I said that they might have mistaken as that.
We
Emerging?
got conspicuously. He said we got conspicuously mergin.
Oh, I'm sorry. If there's anybody who looks like they might be following us or mean us harm, when we come out of Castle Thalavar, back out, you can find a way to tell us.
So we look and we watch to see if anybody watches you go in there. And
Yes.
then if they do, we tell you.
Yes, when we come out.
But we also watch them, right?
Yes, you watch them, but don't put yourself in any danger. Don't let them see you.
Oh, we won't put ourselves in any danger.
Good.
And we
good,
get more
good.
coin for this. And
You get
cherry
more
bread?
coin.
That's the girl.
You get more, and cherry bread, and a safe place to stay, and potentially and do what you do so well.
They will nod to each other. It appears as though they agree. Allie, did you have something?
I was just gonna. I was going to wait until that was done and we were away from the children. So I will hold off.
Yeah, okay, yes, give it a moment then. All of these things are occurring roughly simultaneously. So, Randy, you're not really going to hear the exchange between Eric and the guards because you're, convening your committee of children to discuss this matter. And Rhiannon, just as Eric begins to address the guards, the voice in your head reaches out.
Oh boy.
I know, right? It says, I have news on your skill and your training.
Yeah. Yes.
In assessing your reserves of power from my instruction, I've discovered you appear to have already accessed them. Please roll a 20-sided die, Rhiannon.
come on. 8.
Hmm. You will briefly remember a moment where you poured forth fire to inadvertently consume the body of an individual.
I mean, I don't think I would forget that, even if I rolled a 20.
Fair
If
enough.
you could do it on purpose, that's a handy skill.
Yeah.
As you do so, the voice will continue on, saying, I suspect that access is what awoke my consciousness, but no matter. The good news is this. You already have within you the ability to call upon an incantation. Your mind has a name for it. Burning Hands?
Ah, okay.
When you're ready, I will tell you how to call it forth. At your present level of power, it will be fairly modest.
Yep.
Okay. So that occurs, and Eric, the guards will turn to you, seeing that you and your bedraggled group have arrived, and say, yes?
Raggled.
But before we actually approach the guards,
Yep.
I would like to say something to Eric.
Please,
Would it
go
make
ahead.
sense maybe to, as
You'll
a way
need
of
to
gaining
you'll need to
access,
yell up to him, really, because
or bring him down to my level? I know.
Okay, got it.
But as a way of gaining access, maybe we should bring word of their deceased kinsman, if word has not already arrived,
Yes, we should definitely do that.
just as a way to get as a way to gain audience. Just a thought.
That may, yes.
Okay, Eric, are you ready to address the guards?
We're going to do our best.
All right. So, yes. What do you want?
We bring word of fellows of your order who we have good reason to believe have come to dark ends, and we would wish to speak with the kin of those who have fallen and
Thalavar
convey.
family guards.
Yes,
And who are you?
my name is Elric.
And you are an adventurer?
I am,
Hmm.
as it were.
They're looking you all up and down. Could you each roll a 20-sided die for me?
Mhm.
Okay. Randy
2.
rolled a 4.
2.
Rhiannon rolled a 2.
I rolled a 19.
Well, you were engaged in conversation. It's entirely reasonable that you wouldn't overhear this.
Hey, I
Allie?
rolled a 1.
Even better. And Joel?
2.
2. All right. Well, everyone else
Nice.
simply watching Eric give his speech will have a better sense of what's being muttered behind everyone's back than Eric does, because he's engaged with at least 2 of the guards in conversation. The remaining 4 are muttering amongst themselves. Allie, you probably caught what they said most clearly. They commented on 2 things. One, your reasonable level of attractiveness in a very blunt way that was not designed
course.
for you to hear. And,
Of course.
and secondly, they said something to the effect of, it looks like another Thalavar bastard.
So, I will not openly start laughing, but I will kind of do that little, like, I'm clearly trying to keep myself from laughing a little too much,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just I'll glance at Eric, and I'll just kind of snicker a little bit under my breath.
Everyone rolling a 2 will hear, and you, Allie, will also hear the guards say amongst themselves, best fetch the matron. And the guard speaking with you, Eric, will say, wait over by the servants' entrance, pointing to his right at a smaller gateway guarded by 2 rather bored-looking guards about 30 feet away.
Very well, thank you.
Okay. So
Go
you
do
now
that.
have an opportunity to, amongst yourselves, move over there. I know there was some conversation, some information you wanted to exchange. Go ahead.
Really quickly, I just want
Well.
to ask: Did they notice that Joel has a tree afro? I think that's looking pretty cool.
Yes,
Oh my.
Sorry.
it is
Anyway.
remarkably
Oh my.
centered. Remarkably centered there, Joel.
Sorry, Allie.
Well, as we're kind of moving away, I'll I'll just be grinning, just I'm just amused, and I'll say, well, they clearly think you're a bastard. To
Of
Eric.
course they do.
Also, they
No,
seem
no,
to
no. Like a member of the family, not. No.
Yes.
Oh, that too. Well, I would assume that they do. Otherwise, how else would the resemblance be explained?
Easy enough, I suppose.
And you do wield a bastard sword, right? So
No, they don't.
At times.
He doesn't have it with him.
It's a meta joke. It's a meta joke.
It's a sneaky
Also-
bastard sword that appears only when summoned.
And
Also, I heard a little too much. A little too much. They liked me. A little too much.
oh,
Mm. And whose fault is that exactly?
Hmm.
Theirs. Obviously
There you go.
theirs. Anyway,
Don't you
So
start
while
with
this is
me.
going on, I'll be keeping an eye on the crowds and looking for Randy's lookouts.
oh, they're there. They're observing
Okay.
you from around the square, conspiratorially looking left and right as though there are, a battalion of ogres that are going to come stalking for you at any moment. You've acquired several lost boys, Randy, for what it's worth. Okay.
I'm doing
So-
the good work of finder.
Yeah. Okay, so Allie, I think you also wanted to talk to Randy about his good work.
Yeah, I just wanted to briefly be like, you probably shouldn't go making promises for other people. Like, that's not our house. That's not our place. We can't just start offering urchins room and board.
Well, I didn't say
That isn't
Jamal's
ours.
place. I said I can probably find you some place. I'm certain that I mean, if
Okay.
nothing else, I can get cherry bread from her to give to them and give them some coin. And Jamal may know of like a orphanage or other type place where we could, with a couple of coins, I could
All right.
perhaps get them
All
a
right.
plate.
All right.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it'll be perfect. She's lost all of her performers, and they are natural performers. So she may see
Child
them.
labor. Got it. All right.
Yep.
Just-
It's the realms. No,
At a minimum,
I'm
they
kidding.
can pick pockets in the audience.
and that makes it okay.
No, apprentices. They apprentice early.
Very well. So you will conclude that conversation. Meanwhile, you're looking at two fairly bored guards. Do you wish to engage them in any conversation or patiently wait for however long it
Talk
takes?
to them. I'll talk to them.
Okay, go right ahead. They will look at you. Well, they're not
send
bored
the hot
anymore.
elf lady. She can make this happen.
What am I making happen? First,
I don't know, something. Befriend the guards.
I'm bored. Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
I'll walk up. I'll just. And now I'm like blanking on what to actually say.
One of
now
them
that
will
I'm actually
one of
walking
them
up
will
there.
nudge the other, and they will come to attention.
Having a good afternoon.
Oh, it's better now. How may we aid you, my lady?
I mean, my companions and I were told to wait here.
Oh,
Yes, we have to.
who would make a woman as beautiful as you wait on a hot afternoon like this? If you
My thoughts exactly.
if you'd like, you could come inside with the two of us.
Well, only
That's
if my
so
friends
nice
were
of you
allowed
to
to
offer.
come inside as well. I couldn't leave them out here.
They'll look at your friends and say, and then they'll see Eric, who, despite the fact that he's trying to slouch, is 6'7", and say, I don't think we could make that offer. Perhaps later this evening, if you're free.
And real Allie is blanking the yeah, about that. But I'll just she'll just go, we'll see. I do have a lot on my plate at the moment.
Would you all like something to drink? The other one will say. I could get you some wine.
I could go for some wine. And she'll look at the others.
Okay. Party of adventurers, have you a libation?
I'll
None for me, thank you.
pass.
Thank
Okay.
you, but no.
All
well,
right,
if everyone
so
else is going to pass, I'll have some. If Ellie's
I mean, I'll have
I like
some.
that.
I-
If
I'm
everyone
usually the
else
designated
isn't going to drink, I'll be
driver,
drinking.
like
If
I'm the
they're
only one
going
who
to
never seems to refuse.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right,
It's
well,
not like we're
watered wine.
one of those two guards will scamper off to go in search of wine, and the other one will simply stand there waiting, observing the street to make sure that there are no dangers and that they haven't just been suckered into some sort of a thing that they're not supposed to be doing. Okay, a few minutes will pass, and a person, two individuals actually, will approach. It isn't the guard who went off in search of wine. It is a matronly looking woman wearing dark green with the Thalavar symbol prominently displayed at the breast, a high necked dress with her gray hair, long gray hair, up in a rather severe looking bun at the top of her head. She has a unfriendly look about her, and the lines of her face over age have shown that this is not a person who smiles easily or frequently. She's somewhat on the thinner side, and she's followed a few steps behind by a individual who looks possibly Shao. He's definitely Asian, about 5'6" to her 5'8". He has a mustache, rather significant looking one, but no beard. Black mustache, black hair, and he's dressed kind of like a monk. I suppose I would describe him in sort of like the Asian style, with dark green and black silks, again with the Thalavar family symbol on it. He has a very intense, not smiling gaze, and you will see his frown deepen slightly as he notices that there is only one guard instead of two at this entryway. Does anyone want to do anything before she addresses you all? I'll take that as a no.
Nope.
I may have just gotten
will,
someone in trouble, but hey.
bow slightly in acknowledgement.
Okay. She will look you all up and down quickly, her eyes sort of landing on you, Eric. You will sketch out a slight bow, and she'll roll her eyes up a bit and say, rather briskly, state your business. Don't you know it's midsummer? I don't have time for distractions. Some people are working.
Yes, my lady. Our gratitude for seeing us. We have two pieces of business.
Make them quick.
I produce the signet ring. This, I believe, is
produce
yours.
and hold.
Yes.
Okay. She'll put her hand out for you to drop it into it.
I do that.
She's looking at it somewhat quizzically. Everybody please roll 20-sided die.
Oh.
4.
I got a 6.
I got a 17, so I'm.
All right. So
13.
I see a 2 and a 4 are the lowest. Is that correct? Okay.
6.
I heard that one. The 2 and the 4 are the lowest still, though.
Yep.
The 4 will detect that her eyes will widen slightly when she looks at it. Everybody else will just see that she's inspecting it. If you roll a 4 or better, you'll notice that her eyes will widen slightly. And a person rolling a 2 will notice that she looks at it somewhat nervously, like she recognizes it. And she will turn to you, Eric, and say, where did you get this?
We came across this in the basement beneath Briar House.
Briar House?
Indeed. And I described the location of this place.
Oh, I know where it is. Are you friends of that Jamal creature?
We are her guests for the time being, yes.
That woman. No better than a common street flight skirts. It's good that the lady came to her senses about her. I don't know what you're doing, but you can't expect to show up here and attempt to blackmail us over whatever this is. She's showing you the ring.
We have no such intention, my lady.
Well, then what is your other piece of news?
We have cause to believe that certain servants or relatives of the house have met with grisly ends at the hands of the darkness beneath the streets of Westgate.
Servants or relatives of the house? Name
Indeed.
them.
I do not know their names for certain, but I can describe them.
Go be about it.
Okay, I describe the people from my dream.
Okay. Everyone please roll a 20-sided die.
All right.
So this isn't Thistle
18.
then. Okay.
7.
16. Yay.
16.
Yeah, 18.
Okay.
And Joel, I believe you're our last holdout.
18.
Okay. No one will notice a darn thing. Anyway, so you'll give a physical description. You'll say, never heard of them.
Well, in that case, just the ring then, I suppose.
I suppose. So is that it? You're not come calling as yet another bastard seeking mercy and free gold?
I have learned that my particular face is recognizable, but no, I make no claim of being a descendant of your household.
Well,
No
good.
true claim, anyway.
That's delightful, because I have enough bastards turning up on my doorstep attempting to throw themselves on our mercy and purloin money from us. So then, if this is all you've come for, thank you. And please be gone.
I was hoping that you might see fit to grant us an audience with the Lady Thistle.
So apparently she does laugh, but it's not a very merry laugh.
Mhm.
It's sort of a mocking laugh. And as she's laughing, you'll see, Allie, that there is a guard approaching with a bottle of wine coming from the distance, who spots this discussion taking place and abruptly turns on his heel and begins retreating in the opposite
Yeah,
direction.
like I might even kind of like lean over slightly and just kind of like,
Give him don't come this way. All right, so sadly he made it back a little too late. She barks out that long, bitter laugh, and she says, "Do you imagine that the grand lady of this house sees beggars from the streets or cast-off bastards? She's busy on real business, and you're even bigger fools than I took you for asking such a thing. Get gone."
I'm gonna step forward at that point. I'm just gonna be like, pardon me, do I look like a beggar?
Oh no, madam, you don't look like a beggar at all.
I can assure you that we are neither beggars nor bastards.
Oh, the implication in that
I will
silence.
take off my hat with a flourish.
This
I'll
house-
take off my hat with a flourish and I'll say, "Milady, it is true that we sometimes, as adventurers, walk the line between the noble and the common, but perhaps that is exactly what you are in need of right now. For we sense a great danger to your household, and if that danger is something that has your usual security and wealth has not protected you from, perhaps we are exactly the ones that may be able to assist to go places where maybe you would not deign to go to investigate things that you would be loath to associate yourself with."
And what a merry band of buffoons you are. So I thought, not a bastard, that you weren't going to threaten us. That sounds an awful lot like a threat to me. I'd watch your tongues if I were you, Bully Blades. I'm the valued servant of a noble house. I may not be a lady, but it doesn't mean I don't have the protection of one, and we've guards aplenty, and the respect of the law. I've nothing to fear from the likes of you.
We offer aid, not threats.
What manner of support could you possibly provide that either I or House Thalavar would be interested in? Are you going to entertain someone to death?
While she's talking, she has the ring right now.
She
right?
does
The
in her
signet ring.
hand. That is correct.
I have no skill at like sleight of hand or pickpocketing or anything.
I mean,
But
everyone has some skill, Rhiannon. It's just not terribly good.
I'm wondering if for the element of surprise, people don't generally, if they're holding something, expect you to just like barefaced like walk up and try to take it.
That is probably true. Are you thinking about doing that?
Yes, because it's all very well to hand the signet ring to a servant and then
So the mark is
okay.
in your head.
Yeah.
Oh, if you want her to fear us, I've a way to make her do that.
That's plan D. Let's go with plan A for now.
Okay. So please tell me what plan A is.
Plan A is that I will just like sort of be like just generally normal, 5'3", and like get a little bit closer, like and participate in the conversation, and then just sort of like reach out and take it back if she doesn't like fight.
So this isn't a stealthy grab; it is a deliberate grab.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be a dungeon master if I didn't ask this question. Are you sure you want to do that?
Well, if she has no interest in it.
I'm just asking the question. You give me an answer and we take it from there.
Well, so we're getting tossed out is my read on this. And,
I think that's a pretty clear read, yes.
I don't know that like our ways of going at it so far have seemed like they're gonna prosper even with more effort put into them. So I think we need to have the ring and say that we're going to give the ring to Lady Thistle from our own hands. And so to do that, we need the ring. It needs not to be in the servant's hands.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
I do have one more thing to try. If we want to try one more thing before we go to...
This is a lack of coordination situation, Eric. I'm afraid this is going to happen regardless of what your plans may be.
Do whatever.
Can I say that when she says, "What are you going to do? Perform for me?" And then I kind of step back from the conversation, but anticipating that Eric or someone else was going to step forward when she says, "What can you do for me?" or whatever. I was going to go ahead and start performing in the background in the hopes of inspiring success in whoever was going to continue the argument.
What performance did you have in mind, Randy?
I was just going to quietly like sing, I don't know, "Don't Stop Believing" or something inspirational.
The classics are important.
Yeah.
So you'll begin doing that. And so Rhiannon, I'm going to introduce us all to a rules mechanism of 2nd edition Dungeons and Dragons called surprise. What you are doing could very well be a surprise. I'm going to let you roll to start with because you have no, as you pointed out, specific sleight of hand skill or anything along those lines. Just a flat dexterity check to see whether or not you're making this a little bit more surprising in the way in which you're doing it. So you want low. Go for it.
5.
Okay, so I'm going to add 2 to that, which means that I'm going to roll this d10. And if I roll a 1 through 5, you're going to get surprise, which means you're going to have the ability to act before she can react to your action. Otherwise, it's going to be action and reaction. Okay? I rolled a 2. So now all you need to do is hit armor class 10. Which means you are rolling a THAC0, and all you need to do is roll a 10 or better.
I'm rolling a what?
You're rolling a 20-sided die.
Okay.
You're trying to hit armor class 10. Your base THAC0 is 20, which means you just need to roll a 10 or better on that 20-sided die, and you will snatch that from her palm, Grasshopper.
19.
You do it adroitly in such a way that she is actually shocked by the fact that you did it. So you will literally just walk up and snatch that right from her palm. A couple things happen in the immediate aftermath. Yes. One of them is, and this occurs faster than any of the guards can react.
Oh, okay.
That man who was a few feet away is suddenly now in front of her. He will move with speed and move to interpose himself between you and her, as if perhaps he is attempting to defend her. She will yell out the word "guards" at around the same time as that occurs. What would the rest of you like to do? Eric. Is he frozen?
Pass.
No, okay.
No, I just don't know what to do.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. Come back to you. Joel, I think you have a
I
plan.
am going to immediately clank up and impose myself in between that fellow and Rhiannon.
Okay, so
And
we're
just,
we're
no-
we're,
no
we're
weapons in
double
hand, but
bodyguarding
still,
it. Double bodyguarding it. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
just,
I'll. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yes,
Go
Allie.
ahead.
no, just
Go ahead, Allie.
I mean, I'll step up alongside Rhiannon at that point, and my hand will go to probably the quickest thing would be the stiletto. Actually, I'm not pulling it yet, but my hand is on the hilt of that thing.
Okay, Randy, you don't stop believing, Randy. Hold on to that feeling.
I am holding on to that feeling.
Okay.
I'll step back even a little bit more, and I'll be like, "Don't stop believing."
Okay, and Eric, you got something for me?
I will just try to defend myself from anyone who attacks me.
All right, taking a defensive posture.
You got the cloak. Don't forget to.
I guess, yeah.
All right, so you have broken Eric. We're gonna have to discuss that later. He's
Sorry.
No, I just
he needs
don't
a
see any
reboot.
way out of this. But
Okay.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, okay.
So go ahead.
So she will yell guards. When she yells guards, the guard that is standing, just a few feet away from her, to her, I think, left, will bring his full arm to bear and move forward. The man standing in front of her will look down at you, Joel, and if looks could kill, well, you'd be lying on the ground or something like that. It's a song lyric. I don't remember what it is, but suffice it to say, he's giving you an icy stare. You can hear booted guard steps from the main gate, 30 feet over in that direction, begin to pound their way over here, and she will say, "How dare you?" to you, Rhiannon. Did you want to respond in some fashion? In your head,
Yes.
if you're ready, just let me know.
Okay, ill planned, but I guess it's my turn. Y'all
Yes.
have had your turn before. So I'm going to have my hand over the signet ring,
Mhm.
like in a fist.
Mhm.
But the other one I'm going to be like, okay, everybody, calm down. We are not to be dismissed, but I didn't come here to fight. We came here to speak to Lady Thistle, and my friend was a bit precipitous in simply handing over this ring. I think it is of interest personally to Lady Thistle. So,
You'll
and
get
I
about
apologize.
that much out
Yeah.
as the guards from the front gate, so 4 of the 6, pound into position around ringing you guys. So you are now basically surrounded from the back, as they've sort of gone into a semicircle around your group. And the guard from the front, and you'll hear in the distance a wine bottle crash, and booted footsteps come this way. I'm now gauging, is it better to be not here or here when the guards are called? I'll give you a second to do something in a moment, Allie, but I just wanted to give you that comment.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I was more just like generally reacting.
Put hands up. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Hands
So, like
are
I
off
said,
things now.
You'll be ringed by them as you get to about that point in your speech, and she will cut you off and say, "You wouldn't have the vaguest idea what Lady Thistle would be interested in. That is property of House Thalavar. Turn it over, or these guards will beat you down and turn you over to the Tyrans." Did you wish to resume your speech, Rhiannon? Whenever you're ready.
Before she does that, I'm going to tap the symbol of Tyr that's carved into my armor
Mhm.
and say, I think Lady Thistle might want to talk to us. She always has the option to throw us out herself if she chooses to do so. But in the meantime, you might want to kick this one upstairs to your boss.
The man standing directly in front of you, giving you a death glare, looking down at you, will say, "And who are you? Are you claiming to be a member of the guard?
I am not, but the Tyrans are not members of the guards at this point.
Milady, I believe they are fools. Well, there we agree, she'll say. Turn it over and get gone.
We will turn it over to a member of House Thalavar, not to a servant, not to a guard.
The lady is otherwise indisposed.
We will come back when she is free then.
Very well.
Or is another member of the house perhaps available?
You should probably
Say-
go. You should probably go while you still can, Sir Dwarf.
Yeah. Let's let everybody cool down.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay.
Before
we've
we
done what
do,
can here.
lady, might I know your name so that I can tell the Lady Thistle who is responsible for whatever harms might befall her that she was not warned about?
You are certainly welcome to it as long as you'll give me all of your names.
My name is Elric, as I said.
And the rest of this lot? How about you, young lady? That one's you, Rhiannon. You can feel assassins being hired all over the city.
That's okay. We need the XP.
Okay.
Oh boy. See, this is the point at which I'm like, okay, I don't like just giving out my name to like people. I will say that I have been known by the name of Zenith.
Zenith, Zenith is what you just said to me? Okay.
Yep.
And you, beardless dwarf? That's a deadly insult, by the way, to dwarves. For those of you watching at home. Joel?
I just shake my head. She doesn't need a name.
You'll say that out loud, or you'll just shake your head and think
No, I'm
internally.
just shaking my
He
head.
doesn't need a name.
Mm-mm.
Well, it appears as though
That's my
we're at an
internal thought process.
impasse, Elric. I think if you just say the matron of the house, Lady Thistle, will know who you're talking about. Not that I expect you to ever meet her in this lifetime.
I mean your name, lady.
Did I even get asked for my name?
It's the train stopped when the conductor jumped off at Joel, and she basically declared, "Oh, I know exactly what you mean," and I indicated to you I would not be giving you my name. I have no idea what sorcery you may have in mind for it.
When I speak with Lady Thistle, I would like to identify you. If you refuse to give me your name, I will tell her that you refuse to give me your name.
Oh, please do.
Oh, I will.
The halfling, who everyone's been ignoring more or less up till now, will butt in here. You'll notice, Eric, that he's moved into position between you and her. You're looking down at her at 5'8", and he's at 4 feet. So maybe you missed him slide into the slot there to basically attempt to diffuse the situation a little bit. And he will actually say, "Milady, are there any tall feet about?" "Pah," she'll say. "The lady was kind enough and smart enough to get rid of all of those thieves and liars. Perhaps we should go." He will say to you, Eric.
We're going.
Please make
Very
it
well.
swiftly. You'll see that the guards will part to give you an opportunity to do that. Randy, could you roll a 20-sided die for me?
6.
All right. You will notice that you are light. Exactly 3 orphans. There were formerly scattered about the crowd. Something, I don't know what might have happened here, seems to have caused them to flee, assuming that there might be some trouble of some kind or another.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So do you wish to take advantage of the cordon that has been opened up for you amongst those 4 guards to allow you to retreat from this location?
I suppose we'd better.
All right. As you fall,
let's beat feet.
as you fall out, The voice in your head will say, Rhiannon, she was lying when she was telling you that she did not recognize the individuals that Eric described. I know a liar when I see one. Okay. And you are now out. Go ahead.
What? So I was just going to say, I wondered because she didn't really react much to the ring, but I got something there. So I wondered if she was doing the same about when Eric described those people.
She clearly knows more than she's letting on. Okay. You are now clear of the guards such that you can engage in conversation with each other. You will notice that people on the street are paying attention to you because you just put on quite a show in front of a big house of great importance in a wealthy area of town. As a matter of fact, there's a guard patrol coming down the street. If you'd like to avoid them, I recommend speed back in the direction that you came from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
let's
think
get
we
out
should.
of here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you'll all come to the conclusion that Randy did a moment ago when you're planning your retreat, which is that you're somehow now short your 3 escorts, that they have apparently decided to melt away into the afternoon based on what they just watched go down. As soon as you're clear and Finnan is leading you, he'll turn to you, Eric, and he'll say, I don't think she was giving us all of the truth about the individuals that you described. I have a sense for these things.
I suspect that you are right.
Okay. You may now have a conversation amongst yourselves if you'd like.
Well, that could have gone better.
Can I have our F-bomb?
Yes.
Can you remind me why we were going to Castle Thalavar? It was just to ensure the safety of the young future Shadowbane? Was that?
Yes.
Yes, there was a
Okay.
vision of Gedrin and his mother being attacked
That youth is
at
in
some
danger.
point.
Okay.
Yeah, because but we need that ring if we're gonna have any way to sort of get in there without fighting our way in.
I agree. That's our only
And
bargaining chip.
And the fact that she mentioned blackmail makes me think that something associated with that equipment that we found is something that they would like to keep quiet.
I think you did the right thing, Rhiannon.
Yeah, she
Making
did.
sure we got that ring back.
I did notice that she was nervous when you showed it to her.
Well, and then I think she was also lying about not knowing who you were talking about, Eric.
Hmm.
I think the same thing, Les.
Finnan, your question about tall feet. Did you perhaps know somebody who was formerly associated with the house?
Olive. She ran a contingent of my people that provided security for House Thalavar. She was an intimate of Thistle. I'm shocked to discover that she's gone. There must be something afoot.
So Olive might know a secret way in, or how to circumvent the guard?
Olive might, but she's not here right now.
Yeah.
Did she
Do
mention
you?
anything to you?
Mm.
I didn't ask her about House Thalavar. I didn't expect that I would need to know. That
Do you
doesn't
have any
mean
way
fair.
to-
that
Do you have
doesn't
any
mean
way
if,
to contact her?
no, I'm afraid I don't. None of the spells at my disposal using the power would allow me to do that over such a great distance. And I could send a note, but I don't know how long that will take.
Might we locate one of these tall feet who were formerly guards of the house?
We could conceivably attempt to do that. There is a halfling community here in town. If you give me a couple of days, I could try to find out something.
Okay. I don't know if that's what we want to do. It's just putting all the options on the table.
That
You
might be our best option.
We seem to have lost your companions, Finnan will say to you.
I know that makes me very sad. I had hoped to in the spirit of Finder to renew their lives and bring
They
them to
don't
a
really
happy
have
end.
a reason to trust us, though. So
Understood.
And
I
we
hope
did-
to teach them.
They
that
may
as
also
well.
just be hiding. I mean,
We
we
might
did
see
just
them
almost
again.
Yeah.
break
We
into a
might.
street brawl with a number of guards.
If you want to
Yeah.
find them, the chances are that they live in the area near that intersection. Usually children like that are going to stay close to where they live to do their business. So we could probably track them down. But what did you give as a name, Joel? Let me look up at my thing. Joel. I'm like, what did Joel say? Yes, Joel. Finnan will say to you, Joel, what you and Elric were suggesting may be true. They probably saw us about to engage in a brawl with the guards of one of the city's most powerful houses and decided that for their own safety, it was best to run and hide. I suppose that's what I would do if I were them.
I mean, my heart wants to go find him, but I don't want to pull the whole party into a side quest. So we can.
What is a side quest?
Don't worry.
That is when Finder. That is when Finder leads you on. Everybody in the world could use a little bit of help, but you have to pick and choose where your efforts will be best applied and have the greatest effect. And so sometimes you have to choose which path to follow and follow the greater path.
Choice is terribly important, and it is very important that we all make the right ones. So yes,
Indeed.
Yes, I see your point about these side quests.
Yes. The effort we would put into finding the children might be better put in the end towards some greater purpose.
I wonder if there's some way to get a message to Lady Thistle.
So, okay, somebody who's better at taking notes than me. Do I recall Jamal talking about how Lady Thistle's behavior has changed?
You do
Not
recall that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Jamal indicated that Lady Thistle and she were close at one point in time, not so long ago, no more than about 4 years. And that as Lady Thistle has sort of come into her own, at first she was attempting to engage in certain reforms on behalf of the people of the city, but that slowly fell away as she assumed sort of more responsibilities. And she laid it coincidentally on her being courted by some Cormyrian nobleman who she didn't name because nobody asked that. Yes, because nobody asked that specific question. But whether that's directly connected or merely a coincidence is anyone's guess.
because, I mean, not to make, sort of a whole pattern out of just 2 points of data, but the sort of, if people are trying to manipulate her, then like getting rid of some of her retainers and making sure there's no outside access to her, and like keeping her very busy with the courting process, it suggests to me that it will be harder to get access to her, but it is more important to do that.
Agreed.
Is that out
makes a lot of
loud?
sense.
Is that out loud?
Yes.
Okay. Finnan will say, well spoken. I really do believe that you're onto something here. I will support you in whatever way I can.
Thank you.
Maybe finding a secret way in is probably the best option. Some way past the guards without having to go through the matron.
Or at least a friendly, someone who can get word to Lady Thistle, via the former guards.
Tomorrow is shield meet, is it not?
It is.
Yes.
It is very likely that a woman in such a position of authority will be at some sort of public gathering of other individuals in such positions of authority where they'll be interacting with the people of the city. Shield meet, one of the important things that occurs is the bonding between nobles and commoners, masters and servants, and the like. And so I'm certain there will be some public event that will bring Lady Thistle forth from that house tomorrow, if she isn't already forth from it today, given that it's midsummer.
Someone could wear the mask and mimic a person of importance, potentially. Perhaps
a nasty-minded old woman.
Whose name we still don't know.
But
does anyone need to really know her name? I seem to recall a guard running in the wrong direction and dropping a bottle of wine not too long ago. Finnan's got some sharp eyes on him, Allie.
Yeah.
She identified herself as the matron?
Yeah, the matron.
She did. She said she was the matron of the house.
Yeah.
So you've arrived back at the big intersection where you first met the kids. You're about to plunge across it. If there's something you want to do or say, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to assume you're continuing this conversation amongst yourselves.
I'll call out, cherry bread, ho!
Okay. Could you please roll 2 10-sided dice for me, Randy?
I mean, it's we're just strolling through the intersection. Might as well. Okay.
And you're swarmed by people wanting to buy cherry bread.
So, Allie,
And I'll
Yeah.
just say,
You
oh,
think-
sorry, I was.
you
seeking
think
to
you
buy.
made a connection with the with wine bottle guard?
They were certainly interested. But
Maybe you
why?
could
What
get.
do you have in...
Well, you could
She
get
also pointed a
information
pike
from them,
at us.
perhaps.
While you
I
ponder
mean,
that,
I don't mean comp them for information. I mean, just get perhaps,
Get him talking.
yeah. He might have interesting things, important things to say.
I
Okay.
mean, you realize what you're potentially asking me to do, right?
Yes, but I'm specifically saying don't do that unless you really want to. I don't know. That
I
guard might
don't-
be real cute. I don't know. I don't know your life.
he wasn't that cute, Eric.
Okay.
No.
Look, I'm just saying I'm not really a judge. So
We'll keep that in the back pocket.
Good night. Other
I-
people's court.
I believe
Judge.
what
Look,
Finn
look,
was
look.
implying was that everybody was so scared of her that if you just have her face on, no one will get in your way.
that's possible.
That is true.
So as you're crossing the intersection and Randy is calling out about cherry bread, Randy, could you
Wait,
and
why are we doing this?
and could you and Allie please roll me a 20-sided die? Just you and Allie. Everyone else is sufficiently distracted.
All right.
Randy.
A 7.
Okay, thank you.
11.
All right. Allie, you won't notice this, largely because you were probably engaged in the conversation, but
Yeah.
Randy is scanning the square for small children coming, that he recognizes coming running looking for cherry bread. There aren't any of those, but there is winding its way through the crowd a group of small boys. These look more like the 11 to 13-year-olds than the 5 to 8-year-olds. They're on an interception path, Randy. Maybe they're looking for cherry bread.
Oh boy.
Word gets out. See, this is what
Um,
happens.
I will greet them. I will say, greetings, lads.
So
What
you
can
will
we do for you?
You will step away from the group a step or two so as to intercept these lads before they arrive at the group,
Yeah, before they can
not informing anyone
in
else that that's
pickpocketing
happening.
range of the rest of the group.
So everyone will just kind of look over when they hear you say that to see you interfacing with these children. I think that's where we're at, right? Okay. You'll say, I'm sorry, could you give me that one more time?
Oh, I'll say, greetings, lads. What can we do for you?
All right. Can you roll a 10-sided die for me now, Randy? This is surprise on your side.
Okay. 7.
All right, so you are not surprised when the 3 lads sort of rush you. I don't know if you've ever been the victim of a bump and pickpocket thing in the real world. Sometimes this still does happen, but you are about to be here. You'll see them coming at you like they don't care what you got to say. They're kind of just evaluating your goods on your body for what might be great to put their hands on and run with. And you'll get a second to react. Would you like to do something? That's going to be one of those little initiative things we're going to roll in a second as they come tearing in at you.
Yeah, I'll make sure I'll go like this to secure the mask.
Okay.
And like this to secure my knife. And
See what happens. All right.
see
So
what happens.
roll a 10-sided die for me, please.
Three.
Okay, so you'll get your hands on those items before they bump into you. And the 3 of them will do just that. The largest of the 3, the one who's probably 13 as opposed to 11, will be the one that will make a grab. He's grabbing for an item at your waist. all three of them will sort of like tug at things on you as they're trying to distract you by whacking into you at the same time. And one of them, the one on the right, will come away with something. It's hard to say what it is at this particular moment, but he got something in his hand, and they'll just go whoosh off into the crowd. Everybody else will see that occur, and now you get to react. So, Eric, what would you like to do?
What would I like to do?
Eric, let's start with Eric.
Oh, okay.
Your initial action was grab the important stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think those kids were here for cherry bread, Eric.
I don't think we need to chase them.
Eric?
I don't know what to do. Like this doesn't make any sense. Like, all right, I will angrily stare them down.
Okay.
That's what I will do.
Fair
I will
enough.
actively try and intimidate these kids to piss off.
So
That's what I'll do.
they get
Oh,
off
they
my
melted off into
lawn.
the crowd, right?
Yes, they're getting off. They're,
they're-
in the different directions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Phrasing, but
I served as a decoy distraction. I think we're good.
All right, but Eric, you're nevertheless menacing, so as to suggest don't mess with us. And if there are additional children lurking hereabouts, do not take this as an opportunity to thieve upon us. Fair enough. Thank you, Rhiannon.
Yeah.
Randy, did they get anything?
I'll have to take inventory when we get someplace safe.
Okay, Joel.
Nothing. Just glare after them.
Okay, you're glaring into the
I'm not
crowd.
going to catch them on these. I'm not going to catch them on these stubby little legs anyway.
That seems unlikely. And Allie, shaking your head both physically
Yeah,
and inside.
yeah, like I'm face palming at this point. I'm just like, let's just go. Let's we'll deal with that later. Like
Trying to remember if Randy was carrying anything important.
Yeah, I held. So just to verify, though, I can still feel the mask
You can.
and the knife that I held onto. So I'll
You
say
can.
I held onto the things that I thought were important. If they got something, it might be, a piece of tech or something from my backpack or something that'll be useless, or maybe they'll get some coin for it. But I'm not too.
yeah,
worried.
we can worry about that once we can get someplace safe and take inventory. It's just
We should probably get out of the middle of the street then, Finnan will say.
good idea.
Or back to Briarhouse?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So you will do just that. So anybody have anything else to say on your way back? It'll take you about another 15 minutes from this location.
On the way. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was looking for like anywhere that seems like they could teach me cantrips, not to go in, but to mark it in my mind for when it's not so busy.
Gotcha. Okay. Could you roll 20-sided die for me?
2.
There is along the street that you turn onto, or that you're about to turn off to, Silver Peace Lane or Silver Penny Lane, onto the street that the Briar House is located on. On one of the corners, there is what looks like a wizard's shop. So you've marked its location in your mind. Okay. Anyone else have anything else? All right, then you are standing in front of Briar House, and this is where we will take our first break.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.